I went through hell to obtain every single sword in this game, and now that I have them, I get to rank them from goated to dog water. If you guys disagree with me, go ahead and go down in the comments below and tell me which sword you guys think is goated and which sword is dog water. Complete trash. Alright, the first sword we're going to look at is the basic katana. Now for the katana is probably one of the worst swords in the game, I'm not even going to lie. Obtaining this sword is pretty easy, but the moves on this look is actually quite trash. Quiet rush, you can look at it, it's garbage. Air slash, you know what I'm saying, and the damage isn't even that good for a PvP. Like if I were to use this sword in a PvP, I don't know, bro, I wouldn't do it. But this sword is absolutely dookie. So as for the regular katana, we're gonna go ahead and place this in dog water. Now for the dual katanas. Again, these are some pretty easy swords to obtain. It's not really that hard, but it looks kind of trash. I mean, the looks are absolutely ugly. Now for the moves, whirlwind, you know, it's alright, it looks good. Tornado, which is a very close. I mean, why would you want to use that move? You know what I'm saying? The moves are ugly. It doesn't do that much damage, so you can't really use it in PvP. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and put this sword into dog water as well. Now we have the cutlass. I mean, this is an ancient looking sword. It looks like a sword they would use in 1995. It looks pretty basic. Here are the moves. Quiet rush. Wasn't very quiet, was it? Air slash. Again, it's just very simple moves, easy to obtain, but very simple moves. Doesn't look that good, and I wouldn't use this in a PvP. So again, I'm gonna have to go ahead and put this sword into dog water. Now to start off the common swords, we have twin hooks. Now as for the looks of these swords, they actually look quite nice. I like the way my player actually holds them. He looks kind of cheeky, and the way they fit on you, yeah, these swords definitely look nice. Now we'll go ahead and get into the move. Sky clone, which looks pretty nice but doesn't really last long, but does damage. Prehistoric punt. In my opinion, the damage on this sword is quite nice and it looks very nice, but I couldn't see myself using this in a PvP. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in dog water. Moving on to the triple katanas. Now this sword looks pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. Pretty easy to obtain, and overall it's basically like those swords. It looks nice. It's okay, you know, normal status. Now for the moves, air slash barrage. Pretty awesome. Aesthetics looks good, but the damage wasn't there. Violent rush. Again, the moves look quite nice, don't get me wrong, those moves are absolutely pretty, but the damage isn't there. As for using it in a PvP, I could kind of see myself using it in a PvP if I was to rock that close combat fit. It gets a D for PvP as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the nah category. On to the next sword, we have Shark Saw. Now for this sword, the obtainment is pretty easy enough. You just have to kill a boss. As for the looks, it looks really nice. It looks like I'm one of those menacing characters from Naruto. Now to get into the moves, consecutive slash. Execution. The sword itself looks nice, but it definitely doesn't give off that nice vibe. I don't know. The damage is okay, and the way it looks, the animations is again okay. So I can't really see myself using this sword in a PvP long term wise, but it looks cool while you hold it. It looks cool. So for this sword, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a dog water. On to the next sword, the Iron Mace. Pretty easy to obtain, not really that hard, and the looks is quite basic. It looks like I'm a caveman that just learned how to talk. Anyways, for the moves, Mace Smash. Pretty nice. Killer combo. So as for the sword, I mean, it does okay damage, but it's a really close range sword. I can't see myself using this sword in PvP at all. You would absolutely get demolished. Plus again, it looks pretty basic, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this sword into dog water as well. Now we're starting to get into the little cheeky swords. Now for the first sword, we have the Warden sword. As for the looks, I give it a 0. On to the moves. We have multi-target slash, which again, I mean, there's no range to this sword. Tornado slash. Again, this sword isn't really that good. Multi-target slash. You have to be so close just to use that move. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm gonna go ahead and put this sword into dog water as well. For the next sword, we have Trident. This again is a pretty easy sword to obtain. You just need a little bit of luck. And as for the sword looks, it looks pretty basic. It doesn't look like you're about to do anything, honestly. Now for the moves, we have Trident throw, which brings the enemy to you, which is awesome. Water pulse, which is a close range moves. Again, the damage isn't really there, but that Trident throw puts it over the top. I mean, bringing that enemy close to you, I mean, the combos you could do with that alone is absolutely insane. And you can add water plus to it like easily. I could definitely see myself using this sword in a PvP, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a meh. Now we have Soul Cane. Soul Cane, the looks is absolutely amazing. I look like a demon with this sword. As for obtaining this sword, it does cost quite a lot, but the obtainment is pretty easy. You just need money. As for the moves, Soul Beam, which turns him into ice. The combo is definitely there. It does a little bit of damage. Soul Slash, which is a pretty okay move. I mean, that was pretty nice. Again, I can see myself using this in a PvP situation just because of Soul Beam, but the distance that it has is not really that good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the nah category. As for the next sword, we have Pipe. Now Pipe looks absolutely amazing. It's literally a pipe. Obtaining this sword is pretty easy and it looks quite good. It looks like I'm a gangster about to go beat up somebody. As for the moves, we have Pipe Ignition, which in my opinion, that is a cool looking move. And we also have Dragon Blast, which again is a pretty okay move. The damage isn't there per se, but the moves, it looks absolutely amazing. And the distance is quite nice as well. I can see myself using this in a PvP mode, but it wouldn't be the best sword to use in a PvP mode. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in meh, just because of the looks, because it looks cool. As for the next sword, we have the Long Sword. Obtaining this sword is quite easy. It just depends on your luck and the drop chance, and you get it from a boss, so it's quite easy in my opinion. The looks good. It looks like a basic sword, honestly. You hold it like you're a knight. As for the moves, Annihilate, which has a cool animation to it. Glory Smash, which again, it's a cool and the animation on the sword is absolutely amazing. They've done a great job doing it. And the damage is there as well. Again, can I use it in a PvP fashion? Maybe if I was like, you know, double teaming, you know, if it was like a team battle type thing. But I can't see myself, you know, using this in a 1v1 situation unless I get, you know, close to the enemy, which is not gonna happen. And I couldn't see a noob using this sword, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the sword in the meh category. Now for the next sword, we have the Jitte sword. It is a long sword. Pause on that. Okay, it's a long sword. It looks like there's an iron rod sticking out the back. It looks pretty basic when you hold it, and it sucks against NPCs. For the move, you have Snow Leopard, which does pretty good damage, and Snow Apprehension, which is only good for blinding players in a PvP match. Snow Leopard does have quite a bit of range on it, so I could see myself using this sword in a PvP, especially Smoke Apprehension, that it blinds the player that you're facing is absolutely amazing for PvP. And all the moves are actually quite long range, which I actually like about it. If you're able to hit these moves, your opponent is absolutely done. So for a PvP sword, I like it a lot. I think you can use it for PvP. Can a noob use this sword? I think so. if they train, they can definitely use this sword. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the great category. On to Gravity Cane. Now this sword looks absolutely amazing. Look at it, the way I'm holding it. It's like you're holding Soul Cane, but for a gravity sword. Now for obtaining this sword, again, it's not that hard to get. It just depends on your luck, but it's an absolute great sword and it is worth getting. Now for the moves. Dimensional Grasp, which brings the enemy to you and it does quite a bit of damage. Lunar Blitz. Again, this sword, the animation that it has, the way that it looks, the damage, it's all there. This sword would be absolutely amazing for a PvP sword. I could see myself doing combos with this sword. And it's a basic sword. I mean, I could see a noob, you know, fighting with this sword like they actually know what they're doing. So for this sword, I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it a goat status. Okay, it's definitely goated. For the next sword, we have Headed Blade. It is a two-headed blade sword. Now for obtaining this sword, it's pretty easy. And as for the looks, it looks quite nice. I like two-headed blade swords personally, so to me it looks very nice. Now for the moves, Assassin, which is okay, and the damage is there. Raging Wind, which is The sword itself is an okay? The sword itself is nice. I'm not gonna waste your time. I'm gonna go ahead and put this sword in the nah category. Now for the next sword, we have Dragon Trident. This sword looks absolutely cool on your back. Will definitely have people asking questions on how you got it and if that's a new sword. It looks great in your hands. And overall, the obtainment of the sword is quite easy. Again, you just need a bit of luck. Now for the moves, you have Sea Dragon Fury, which is a long range move, and the damage, again, the damage is there. Trust and believe. Water Dragon Shower. This move is absolutely beautiful for PvP. In a PvP, I'm looking for range in a sword. So if I have any range moves, it's absolutely amazing. And the damage that it does, again, awesome. I could see a noob using this sword like they know what they're doing. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and give this sword, I'm gonna put it in the great category. It's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. I'm gonna put it in the great category. On to the next sword, we have the Yama without hockey. It looks cool. Look at it. It's like a blood sword. Now you turn on your hockey and it has this cool little effect on it. So you know the looks is absolutely amazing. Now the obtainment of this sword is not hard, but it does take time. Now for the moves, Hellish Slash, which is absolute. That looks cool. Don't even get it wrong. That looks cool. Infernal Hurricane, again, looks absolutely amazing. But in a PvP situation, I cannot see myself using this sword. That might be devastating for some people, but I think this sword is just not a PvP sword. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the meh category. Now for the next sword, we have Wando. It's not hard to get, it just takes time. The obtainment is not easy. You're waiting in a server for 4 hours for the sword, and even then you might not get it. Now for the moves, we have Continuous Slash, which is a close range move. And you can move this, you can move this around. The damage is definitely there. If you can cast somebody in this move, you'll do damage. Dragon Gust. Again, the damage for the sword is definitely up there in the damage category, but I cannot see myself using the sword in a PvP style, and I can't see a noob using this move either. So for this sword, I'm gonna give it a meh. Now for the next sword, we have the Tushita blade. I call it a blade because it sounds cool. So for the looks of this sword, it looks quite good. Now for the moves, Heavenly Lunge, which is a pretty good move. Celestial Ravage. Again, the move set on this sword is good and the damage is absolutely bliss. But again, I can't see myself using this in a PvP. I mean, if you catch somebody with this move, okay, if you were to paralyze them with ice and to use this move, I could see it doing damage. But for the normal noob would not be able to use this sword in a PvP. But this is a great sword, which is why it's going in the great category. Now for the Shisui sword is, again, the obtainment of this sword is quite easy. You just have to be patient. Looks just like Wando, so I'm not even going to get into the looks. I'm going to skip right into the moves. For the moves, you have True Quiet Rush, which is awesome. You have Focus Shot, which is actually a pretty good range move. This move goes like for a long time. There's range. Trust and believe that there is range in this move. I mean, look at this. I'm this distance away from that NPC, and you can use it and you can still hit him. This sword has range. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the great category. Now we have a big boy. We have Shark Anchor. The obtainment of this sword is hard. It is hard to get this sword. You have to defeat a certain type of terrier shark. You have to get this and that. I mean, this sword is quite hard to get, but it's 100% worth it. Now for the sword, it looks cool because the chain is swinging back and forth, and the way that you have it on your back is absolutely amazing. You look like a true pirate with this on. Now for the moves, Typhoon Toss, which is basically you throwing the sword, and if you hit that right, you'll do damage. Armor Break, which is absolutely amazing, and I believe that move actually breaks the person's hockey. Correct me if I'm wrong. This sword is absolutely amazing, but if it wasn't for the obtainment, bro, the obtainment of this sword is just so devastating. At least it was for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this sword into great category. For the next sword, we have the Saddi sword, which is the same as the Wando in the, well, I forgot the other one. But again, getting this sword is all about patience. 4-hour wait. You might get it, you might not get it. Now for the animation of this sword, it looks cool. That to me, I like the yellowness, okay? I'm biased. I'm a little biased. Now for the first move, Sword Dance, which is cool. True Air Slash. And bro, the Air Slash got me. The Air Slash looks absolutely exquisite. I mean, you've seen the Air Slash to the katanas. Those were not Air Slashes, but this is an Air Slash that does damage. Absolutely amazing. PvP sword is definitely there. It's not for the noobs. This is not a noob sword. It's definitely only for those that are skilled. This sword isn't great. In my opinion, this sword is goated, okay? But for the sake of the video, I'm gonna put this sword in the great category. Okay, it's not meh, but it's great. Now for the next sword, we have Saber. For the obtainment of this sword, it's really easy. It's just a very long side quest. It's not really that long, but the obtainment of the sword is quite easy. Now for the looks of this sword, it looks pretty basic. It looks like the Cutlass sword, but trust me, it is nothing like that. Now for the moves, you have Deadly Rush, which is amazing, and you have Triple Slash. That move in and of itself brings this to a top goated tier, definitely. I'm kidding. The sword is not goated. The sword is not the best, but it is a first C sword, and for a first C sword, it's actually pretty good. I can't see myself use this in a PvP mode, and there are much better swords than this. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the meh category. Now we have Rengoku, legendary sword. If you watch Demon Slayer, you know this sword is amazing. For the looks, it looks basic. Again, it just looks like a basic katana with something, you know, different. It looks cool, but the stance is basic. For the moves, we have Demon Slayer. That's cool, and it has a lingering effect, and the damage is there, guys. Now for the next move, we have Burning Slash, and if you hold it, you actually get this cool animation on your screen. Look at all the fire. This sword is absolutely cool. I mean, you see the little glow, you see the ashes on the screen. They went out. They're like, if we're gonna steal a sword from Demon Slayer, we might as well do it right. I'm just gonna put it. I'm gonna put it in a great category. It's okay. Whatever. Now for the next sword, we have Pole first form. There is a V2 of this sword, but this is the first sword, Pole. And don't get me wrong, this was actually one of my favorite swords when I was coming up in this game. But as I've seen other swords, this sword isn't really that good. You have Explosive Cloud, which again doesn't. It's just there, bro. You also have Lightning Rain, which is you know what it's just it's just a sword, okay? If you like lightning like I do, it's there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the dog water category. As for the next sword, we have Midnight Blade. Now for the obtainment of this sword, I don't remember actually. Anyways, the sword looks pretty cool. Regular stance. It looks like you're holding a long sword but with a little customization to it. As for the moves, you have Portal Open. I mean, come on. If that don't look cool, I don't know what does. You also have Crest Dash, which again it's a cool move. The portal opening itself is absolutely amazing. That's cool. Now don't get me wrong, that is cool in my opinion. And this is definitely a PvP sword. So for this sword, I'm gonna go ahead and give it. I'm gonna put it in the mech category. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's not there for PvP, but it looks cool. But coolness will not get you through this, okay? For the next sword, we have Koko. Now for the moves, you have Electric Stab, which is okay. A little lightning move does damage. For the second move, you have Injection Shot, which again, it's a pretty good move. I mean, the moves are there, so I would put this in the math category. For the next sword, you have Fox Lamp. Fox Lamp is an amazing sword. It looks cool. The stance is different, and you have these little cool animations. Look like there's souls going into the lamp. Now for the move, you have Scorching Azu, which looks cool. Looks amazing. If you can hit that off, you'll definitely get the damage that you're looking for. You also have Infernal Firestorm, which is an okay move. Scorching Azu is kind of a long range move as well, so it has that going for it as well. So I'm gonna put it in the mech category. It's there. If you want it, go get it. If you don't, now for the next sword, we have Dark Dagger. And I'm gonna try my best not to be biased. I hate this sword. Look at it. It looks trash. What are you gonna do with this, huh? Who are you showing off to with this sword? Absolutely garbage. Get it out of my face. Proficiency Impale. Wow, you teleport behind them and you kind of just stab them. Wow, you stabbed them with the tiny sword. Awesome. Smashing Slash. Teleport behind them and you hit them from the back. Awesome. Wow, that's so freaking cool. The obtainment of this sword is absolutely ridiculous. You need 99% luck and 1% effort. I'm gonna go ahead and put this sword in dog water because the obtainment is crazy. Now for the next sword, we have Canvander. I don't even know how to say this sword, but it looks cool. This is the first sword that you actually hold in one hand, but your hand is behind the back, so it looks quite cool. It looks like a fencing sword. As for the moves, you have Piercing Dash, which is cool, and you also have Scattering Gust, which is okay. Can't use this sword in the PvP. Wouldn't want to use this sword in the PvP. Definitely not a PvP sword, and I couldn't see a noob using this sword, so I'm gonna put it in the knock category. Now for the next sword, you have the Buddy Sword, which you obtain in 3rd C by defeating Big Mom, which is quite a task in and of itself. Does have a face on the sword, which is cool, but the face doesn't talk or do anything crazy, so it's just there. Now for the moves, you have Heat Slash. Awesome. You have Lightning Wave, which is, I mean, I've seen a lot of people use this sword in PvP just solely because of the light wave. And the Heat Slash is also good as well. It does go quite far. It does have a bit of range to it. It does have a lingering effect. As for the lightning wave, again, it does have quite a range to it, so it is a good PvP sword if you're looking to put some distance between you and your opponent. It's okay. I'm gonna put it in the great. Again, not goated, but it's not, you know, it's not trash either. So I'm gonna put it in the great category. Now for the next sword, we have the Bisento blade, which is pretty cool. A sword used by Whitebeard. I can see myself. Now for the moves, you have Windbreaker and Quake Spear, which is a close range move. But this sword does have a second form, which unfortunately I did not get because you have to be in first seed and you have to wait for this guy that spawns like in an hour or something. I just didn't want to do it because I'm not gonna use this sword. But just know there is a V2 of this sword, and just because there is a V2 in this sword and I don't have it, I'm gonna put it in the meh category for all those people that like this sword. Now we're getting into the good swords. Now we have Hallow Scythe. The obtainment of this sword is not easy. It does take time, easier than Dark Dagger, but the obtainment of this sword is quite hard. It looks absolutely amazing. Okay, it looks quite good holding it over the back like that. Looks like you're about to take somebody's soul. Now for the moves of this sword, you have Death Cyclone, which does quite a bit of damage, good for PvP. You have Soul Execution, which is absolutely amazing, and I believe Soul Execution does drain the life of your opponent and put it back in yours. I think it has a life absorbing move in it. I'm not sure because I don't use it, but it is a pretty good PvP fruit. So I'm gonna have to put this in golden. Now for the next sword, we have Dark Blade. Dark Blade is a pay to win sword, but if you can pay for it, but for the obtainment, I'm gonna put it in a negative because I'm not paying for a sword. What the hell? Now for the looks, it looks quite amazing. It has its own animation. When you jump, you actually spin. Now there is a V2 and a V3 of this sword. The V3 changes the colors, and the V2 gives you a plus 30% damage on it, and it changes the looks quite a bit. Now for the moves, you have 1000 slashes, which does quite good damage, and you also have Dark Air Slash. It's a pretty fast move. I love Dark Air Slash, but I can't see myself or a noob or anybody that doesn't know how to PvP using this sword straight out the box. I'm gonna put it in the nah category. It's not worth paying money for this sword. It's paid to win, okay? Now for the next sword, you have Cursed Dual Katanas. Now for the moves, you have Revolting Revere. Sorry if I said that wrong, which is awesome. And you also have Slayer of Goth. Again, sorry if I said that wrong. This is, in my opinion, this is an amazing sword to PvP with. It's one of the best swords and one of the main swords that people use to PvP with. Getting this sword is quite a whole process, but the damage that it gives you and the PvP freedom that it gives you is also amazing and totally worth it. So for this sword, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the great category. Now we have Spiky Trident. It's a whole process to get this and it's very time consuming, but is it worth getting? Yes, it is. In my opinion, Spiky Trident has to be one of the best PvP fruits. Now for the moves, you have Doe Hurricane, which does it does damage, okay my boy. 6,000 is no joke. For the second move, you have Flying Trident Pull, which basically pulls them towards you. I am a noob at PvP, okay? I have no knowledge of PvP, but I use this sword when I fight, and I can use this sword, so anybody can use this sword. Amazing. Look at this. Pull them in, switch up, use that move. This sword is absolutely golden, bro. I cannot stress how good this sword is in PvP. This is going in the great category. Now for the next sword, we have Pole, but this is V2 version of Pole. Now for the moves, you have Hand of God, which is awesome. Electrical Prison. It's a cool sword. The animation is definitely amazing, but it's not a PvP sword. I cannot stress that enough. Don't use this to PvP. I tried it and I sucked. But again, it's not the worst, so I'm going to put it in the great category. Now for the final sword, we have true triple katana. This sword, the obtainment of this sword is not at all difficult. It is just very time consuming. Now for the moves, you have Wolf Fang Rush. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You have Dragon Hurricane. It's pretty good. The animation is there, and the sword itself looks pretty good as well. Look at me. It looks like I'm holding 1,000 swords in my pocket. It's a good sword for PvP. What am I talking about? It's a good sword for PvP. I'm putting this in the great section. No, I take it back. I'm putting it in the goated section because it is goated. Anyways, that is all the swords. If you disagree with any ranking that I put, please go down in the comments below and tell me what you think, and I'll tell you that you're wrong. Anyway, subscribe to the channel. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.